Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, June 2nd, 2016. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. Attorney at law and Vice President of the SVG Human Rights Association, Israel Bruce, has expressed unease about the soon-to-be enacted cybercrime law. In a telephone interview with SVG-TV News, Bruce says that more questions need to be asked about the act, which allows for an application to be made to a judge under the guise of committing an offense so that other information can be attained.
Access. If you have private information, let's say stored on your computer, it might be pictures, videos of family interactions, whether private, rated or X-rated or what have you. If you have that stored on your computer at your home for your own personal use, once the police have permission to access your system, based on my understanding of this particular proposition of law, then they can now access your system and go through it as they please, to seek for the information that they have allegedly put forward that you're in possession of. Mind you, I am saying they do not have to have any information that you have such information on your computer. But if there are other motives that are driving a small society like ours, then you can find that person's right to privacy, which is a constitutional right, that may be a right that could be quickly and subtly eroded by this particular act.
Bruce also raised questions as to whether the passing of the Cybercrime Act is a move to muzzle persons in cyberspace.
Media has played a critical role in the body politic of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We've seen the major contending political parties use social media either on the ground or using their agents or connected personalities in distant land outside of this jurisdiction, I mean outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines by that terminology, to fight their wars. You might describe it as a proxy war. And what has to be recognized is, in my mind, that this particular act also seeks to rein in those persons who feel that they can stay in cyberspace wherever they are, operating from, be it United States or Canada or Tortola or Barbados or where have you. They can stay there and do that. And this act is seeking to suggest that you are going to be reachable.
Under the Cybercrime Act, persons found guilty here in this country or abroad of using photos, video, or language with a criminal intent could be charged or fined a hefty sum. This piece of legislation could see perpetrators facing a $100,000 fine or 2 years imprisonment or both if found guilty. Section 15 of the Act tackles child pornography and also levels charges on persons who obtain such material for himself or another. The new Act also allows officers to access data and storage systems from computers, flash drives, and other devices for prosecution. In Section 16, which deals with harassment and bullying, persons can be charged for disseminating false information and causing damage to the reputation, which causes the person to be subject to public ridicule or embarrassment. The Human Rights Association is expected to host a town hall meeting to share with members of the public more information about the law and to hear their views on it. The fight to tackle diabetes continues in this country. Earlier today, a symposium was held for persons living with diabetes and their caregivers at the Methodist Church Hall. The symposium, hosted by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, was designed to discuss the new drug Herbapro-P and diabetic foot treatment, medication and diabetes, dietary management and diabetes, and diabetic foot care. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Louis Deschamps, told the gathering that diabetes is a plaguing problem in this country.
The problem was exacerbated by the fact that a number of persons were having amputations of their legs, and it was recognized that these amputations could be avoided with the knowledge that we gained that the Cuban authorities, the Cuban government, the Cuban professionals have been marketing and implementing a drug, the Herbapro-P drug, which is of tremendous support to persons with diabetic foot ulcers.
Deschamps noted that while the Herbapro-P drug is not a miracle drug, research has shown a high success rate.
And we're at the point now where there are 54 clients 54 persons have been benefiting from the drug, from the Herbapod P drug. Some have gotten to the point where there has already been complete improvement, and others are going through the stages to get to that particular point where you can be happy and you can work, well, you can lead a normal life. So we started out doing everything only at Milton Cates Memorial Hospital, and today we have been able to transfer some patients to the Georgetown Hospital and also to allow persons to have a clinic where they could go to receive the appropriate treatment and care for the condition.
The Herbapro P was introduced to this country's health sector last year, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the first and only OECS country to offer it. Electricity mobility must not be judged from the vehicular perspective only, but also by the wider contribution it will offer to the environment. That's according to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transport and Works, Hudson Ned, in his opening remarks at an electricity mobility workshop held earlier this week, which focused on the macroeconomic assessment of the potential impact of electric mobility in SVG. Ned noted that while his ministry promotes the operation of transportation, especially for students, they are also concerned about their contributions to carbon emissions. He pointed out that there must be a collective move by all sectors so as to gain all the benefits offered through electric mobility.
Providing efficient transportation, not just for students, but I'm talking here public transportation for the wider community, that has a strategy that is geared towards a shift in energy use. So we're talking here about a kind of cross-vehicular, cross-modality strategy that will promote and support electrification of transportation. And I believe this should be an essential part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines' quest to attain some of the benefits that has been realized in other parts of the world.
Leader of the Promoting Access to Clean Energy Services, or PACES project, Dr. Alston Stoddard, outlined that the movement toward electric mobility is indeed a tremendous achievement for not only SVG, but the entire region. He noted that it is very critical for persons to utilize the alternative measures available to them so as to better create a greener St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
At some point in time, the energy unit of this country will present to the government of this country some of the recommendations and the analyses from the analysis that was done to develop policy issues regarding this most important subsector. The general public would have to decide whether or not it is worth the while. And if we take some global scenarios into consideration, of course, you would agree it would be worth the while to consider buying one of these vehicles. We always talk about cost, but there is an environmental side to the argument that the more we use of the renewable energy, and when we talk about renewable energy with respect to transportation, we're talking about using maybe solar PV to charge a vehicle.
CARICOM Secretariat Representative Dr. Devon Gardner noted that governments play a crucial part in driving the electric mobility agenda, not only through policies but also through its own internal agenda as it regards to consumption patterns. He further outlined the importance of putting actions to policies, as there will be no progress if there is no action.
We have therefore recognized that there can be significant market leverage derived from governments playing a lead role in the procurement of clean technologies, and electric vehicle is one such example. And so I want to commend the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for heading in that direction. I hope to be able to say that CARICOM would have finalized its energy efficiency strategy, a significant component of which will be electric vehicles. Fact is that it is events like these and occurrences like these that will provide us with the basis through which we can uplink what is happening at the national level into the regional situation, so that the regional strategy is not necessarily top-down only, but also as a bottom-up feed. So in a sense, we get a squeezed approach.
Senior Fisheries Officer Chris Isaacs is assuring Vincentians that a sunfish caught in the waters here today is safe to eat. Many persons were amazed when the peculiar-looking fish was brought to shore in the area of Bottomtown earlier today. According to the fisheries officer, the sunfish, which is usually an inhabitant of warm waters, was first caught in Oya some 2 years ago.
It's not a fish that the fishers would traditionally catch, so it's not like they would go out there and seek it, and it's not something that would be landed at our fish markets usually. It's found at, can go down to depths below what we would usually catch, but every now and again it also basks close to the surface, where that is also could be another reason why it got the name sunfish. The thought is that after diving to these depths where the waters are so cold, it uses the sun to kind of recharge itself when it comes back up. So it could be that fishers would have seen it before and just don't catch it because it's not something that the local public would normally eat.
The senior fisheries officer noted that while the sunfish would not be considered a rare species in the Vincentian waters, it is a delicacy in Asia, and Vincentians should make the effort to follow suit and begin to consume it.
The fish can grow to about 10 feet in total length. That's if it's been around for a while. The average length would be between, I'm guessing, 6 and 10 feet, and the fins can grow to as much as 14 feet in length. And because, especially in the Caribbean, we don't target it as something that we don't normally eat, it is expected that they can grow to quite a large size. It's not something that the other fish would normally go after, so the only other predators other than humans are probably like killer whales that pass through, or sharks for that matter.
And recently, a 12-foot tiger shark was caught in the waters of Calico, which Isaac says was feeding on some beet whale. A Union Island youngster was killed in Trinidad on Monday following a boating incident. According to a report from the Trinidad Express newspaper, 21-year-old Elvin Joseph was part of a fishing trawler crew that had docked in Chaguaramas. Joseph reportedly left the trawler and paddled closer to the shore in a dinghy to get better Wi-Fi reception so that he can be able to place a WhatsApp call. The newspaper article states that the police reported a large pleasure craft was cruising through the area and slammed into the dinghy which Joseph was on. Joseph reportedly suffered injuries and was taken to the St. James District Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The police in Trinidad are investigating the matter. There is little to no spread of resources when it comes to rural communities, particularly from funding agencies or project funds. That's according to Chartered Accountant Dougal James, as he delivered remarks to representatives from various cooperatives who attended a workshop here earlier this week, which focused on institutional strengthening of cooperatives. James noted that some cooperatives have become stagnant and dependent on handouts, and expressed confidence that the workshop will go a long way in developing cooperatives, particularly the rural ones.
So the time is now for the rural community to change, and this intervention should be the beginning of the end of such dependency. Cooperatives are formed for purpose, not just to sit back and wait on handouts and project funds and then go dormant after a few have benefited. Because evidence have shown that there's little or no spread of resources when it comes to rural cooperatives partnering with funding agencies or grant funding. And for us to move forward, that has to stop.
James also called for honesty and selflessness from cooperatives and said that rural communities have an important role to play in the development of SVG.
Be honest in our endeavors to uplift our community it's not just about ourselves, because a lot of persons join cooperatives and immediately endorse We FM. And that's not the radio station. It's what is in it for me. And once we go along with that, we'll be getting nowhere. So myself and Mr. Homer are here to partner with you to try and slowly but surely change the outlook and also the outcome, because there's huge potential in rural communities.
Meanwhile, Ching-Yu Lee of the Taiwan Technical Mission said there's a long and hard road ahead in relation to the development of rural communities and encouraged these institutions to work together in order to bring benefits to their communities.
So actually, the farming cooperative, we have two traders. We are just starting from grade 1. Similar school system. A lot have to learn, and it will take years. So this is not easy task. So we have to work together, always stick together. Then we know each other, then see how to help each corps develop your business. Then finally, members and the community could benefit from this business development.
A rural food handling workshop was recently held here. Farmers from the Backyard Garden Group were taught how to utilize the crops they have grown in their backyards. The workshop also saw participants being taught how to handle and prepare food from the crops that they grow. The objective of the workshop was to encourage farmers to improve their practices.
Just want to encourage people to grow as much as possible some of the foods that you would like to eat. Let's start from those that you like to eat, and then you can expand. By doing so, one of the sure things is that you have access to food. That's one, and the other thing, you know what you put into the cultivation in terms of fertilizer, and so you are able to eat much healthier. This project, we encourage pure organic, in terms we use organic fertilizer straight through, and the general feedback is that the participants are generally happy with the outcome.
Rosemary Muckett, Community Nutrition Officer at the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, and one of the coordinators of the workshop, said sharing her knowledge with the farmers was a worthwhile experience.
This program, I've taught them how to utilize these crops in a different way and to get the best nutrients from them: steaming, baking, boiling. Instead of we also have enhanced the flavors with backyard gardening flavors like our pimento peppers or flavor peppers, thyme, so that they can utilize, instead of have to use additives that may not be as nutritious as well as not cancer causing, like the MSGs. So utilizing our local flavorings to these food that will enhance the flavor.
Carnival Beat is coming right up. Another guest artist at Sunday's Soca Swing Show, Cato Foster, is promising patrons nothing but high energy with his performance. Noting that it will be his second year performing at the show, Cato told our news team that he has grown over the months and gained more experience and exposure, and will rise to the occasion for Vincy Mass 2016.
This year I'm going to definitely bring more experience to the big stage, so the general audience will see some level of growth in my performance for Soca Swing this year. Like my brother Hans John said, I definitely make them some soca addicts. When they hear me performing, they'll be wowed.
The singer, who is also a member of the Kinetics Band, urged patrons to come out and be a part of the Soca Addiction at the Victoria Park. Commenting on his 2016 Raga Soca single Fras, Foster said revelers should come prepared to take it to another level.
Our country is going to come down on Sunday night, June 5th. People, if you don't remember the date, it's June 5th. The entire country is going to come down already fast to come into Victoria Park. And when Kyo hits the stage, I'm sure, you know, the fastment is going to go to another level.
3 days before the staging of the Miss SVG pageant 2016, the 8 contestants who will be vying for the coveted title are busy fine-tuning their preparations for the show to be held on Saturday, June 4th at Carnival City Victoria Park. In tonight's Carnival Beat, we'll be featuring the final 2 of the 8 contestants.
Decision which has led her towards accomplishing a lifelong dream. Renisha Lorraine, contestant number 5 in the Miss SVG pageant 2016, says she has no regrets in her journey thus far. With her eyes set on playing a pivotal role in the hospitality industry, Renisha noted that her path has not been easy.
Sacrificed my work. I had to resign for full preparation of this pageant, and yes, it is a major push for me, because why make that sacrifice if I know that I am not going to get this? So I have to go the extra mile so that, you know, at the end it would not be seen as a sacrifice but as an accomplishment, that I accomplished a lifelong dream.
Performer Miss North Winward credits her involvement in the pageant for aiding in her overall growth and notes that she intends to use her experience to empower others in her community.
It doesn't matter what people are saying about you, because when people see your strides and see that you want to be somebody in life, they will try their best to bring you down. Try your best to strive for your best, achieve your goals, because nobody will bother demean or degrade you unless you are a threat to them.
Hardworking and resilient are 2 qualities of contestant number 8, Nikiana Williams, which she believes will make her an excellent role model.
And I think that teaching has taught me how to be confident and how to be outspoken, so I must thank you to the Division of Teacher Education. And I do want to be a role model for young ladies, and this is why I'm using the Miss SVG pageant to become a role model for young women.
Nikiana notes that her journey, although it has been challenging, has fostered a greater yearning within herself for achieving success.
We should be humble. I would not let the crown get to my head, as we must say. I would remain the young lady that I am. And in addition to this, I'm passionate about eliminating child hunger, so I think that I will work within this field, and that's what I will do as Miss SVG 2016.
The 2 contestants remain hard at work, diligently preparing for show night. On Saturday, June 4th, 2016, all Vincentians are being urged to come out and witness a night of passion and brilliance as they crown a new queen. Reporting for Carnival Beat, I am Nikita Tony.
SVG-TV extends our best wishes to all 8 contestants. Lynx Mass Band has their eyes set on the 2016 Band of the Year title with their presentation Send This, Send That. We get more on this presentation in this report by Chelsea.
Band leader of the Lynx Mass Band, Cornelius Pete Thomas, said that he has modified this year's production but still wants to stick to the tradition mass line, as it is a vital aspect of SVG's carnival and culture.
There's a little bit of spiciness in there. If you check out jewelry, we cater that section there for the girls them who like not too much clothes on their body, and we go the traditional way still, with the capes and the headpieces big, you know, and just more creative. I want to stick in the tradition line because the reason why, if you check it out, right, is more you're getting wire bending, cardboard, artists work into it, painting still, spraying. It's not just feathers and beads only, but we have to still do wire bending and stuff like that. And I say art, painting, and it's all there. Molding, you know, we're doing paper molding with water and starch. You cook the starch, all of that stuff. We still working hard as that. We ain't just like, you know, go in the store, buy some bees, not disrespecting the next bands, them who doing stuff like that, but I'm just telling you what we doing.
Thomas said he and his team have been working rigorously on the costumes and promises that the band's presentation this year will give the other mass bands a run for their money.
Our feel for Vincy Mass this year, I know that we have a strong team and we could cause a lot of upset. So man like Blondie Board and Friends, Nelson Black, High Voltage, trust me, we're on the back strong. And we gotta be real tough in the night mass and queen of the bands.
While he appreciates his current sponsors, Thomas says with more sponsors, their production can be even more bigger and better, and is encouraging other business places to come aboard with them.
We appreciate who all help us, even to those who don't really help. We hope that you jump on board. Well, I want to thanks to Courage Hazel Inc. and Courage Distributors and St. Vincent Brewery Limited, GNT Supermarket Enterprises, that's on signing right here, who set us up with the mass camp, and other little people just happening here and there.
Chelsea Jackson reporting for SVG Television Evening News.